My name's Nerys Owen, and I'm the owner of Ceredigion residential home in Llanilar, near Aberystwyth.
And tell us, what are the challenges you're facing at the moment?
There's a lot of challenges at the moment. Suggested closure of the stroke unit in Gwlad is extremely worrying, not just for the elderly, but for all generations. To think that they want to treat and transfer doesn't kind of make sense at all. I know for a fact that last night alone, casualty in Gwlad was mayhem. I had a resident inside an ambulance from 2:30 yesterday afternoon, and when I rang the hospital at 9:25 last night, I was advised by the receptionist in A&E that he was still sitting inside the ambulance.
So that was 7 hours?
Yeah.
What happened there? Just to give some more detail about that particular incident.
So
what's the latest now?
So I've been trying to contact, I tried to contact the Gwlad A&E last night at 11, and I spoke to the receptionist, who was very helpful. It certainly isn't down to the staff, because we have a wonderful team of people working in Gwlad. I think that the facility is too small to deal with the amount of need that is within mid-Wales. I have a friend at the moment who unfortunately has been diagnosed with cancer. He had to travel down to Prince Philip. Now, that's a 2.5-hour journey for him to get there, plus the transport to get him there, plus having his treatment, and then having the worry of a 2.5-hour drive home. I think it's absolutely crazy. And as a person that's been born and raised in mid-Wales, in this village, I fear for my future here as a taxpayer who's paid into the system, that the care facility isn't here. They're going on about building properties and that mid-Wales need this building for young people, and I get that, and I'm all for building. But if you have no facilities here to support the people that are living here already, how is it going to work by bringing more people into mid-Wales when we just don't have the care facilities here?
The 7-hour wait in the ambulance, is that a common thing? Have you had lots of dealings with that?
The longest I've had to wait for an ambulance in Ceredigion with a lady, it was a few years ago, but with a snapped femur, I waited 16 hours for an ambulance.
So who do you put the blame on for relation to this? Or is it just simply a sparsely populated area, you don't have enough money for these kind of
things? It's the people at the top. I'd love to know how many people within Hywel Dda actually live in mid-Wales.
Gwyn's put his thumb up here. Gwyn, leader of Gwlad. What did you think listening to that?
It's a sad story, but it's a true one, and I hear it more and more. You were born in Llanilar and lived in Llanilar.
Yeah.
I was born in Machynlleth and the Dyfi Valley, which is also comes into Gwlad.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Aberystwyth, which also comes into Gwlad. There is this thing about, unless you're on the A55 in the top and the M4 in the bottom, there's this desert in the middle. And it's even worse is they've moved the air ambulance from the area. I don't care what their arguments are. The farmers need it. I mean, I know too many people who have had great service from the air ambulance and they would have died. There's no question about it.
Exactly.
And they're on top of a mountain. It's different if you live down in Swansea, Port Talbot, Neath. There's another hospital round the corner, and it's only a motorways journey. We haven't got any motorways. We haven't got anything. And your point about how many of them live here, if they were living up here, I think Gwlad would be upgraded.
Well, 100% agree with you, Gwyn. You know, at the end of the day, there are people making decisions, and they are making decisions on our lives. To think that if you had a stroke, that you would have to go, you'd be treated, transferred to Llangwili. Llangwili is already overloaded. If you speak to any of the staff in Llangwili Hospital, They are like, how are we going to cope? And now with especially that they want the closure of the accident emergency department in Withybush. Where are those people going to go? So are our lives worth less than the gravy train of the M4 and the A55?
Well, it looks as if it is, and I'm sorry to say that, because they don't have an understanding. They look at a map, and they don't, well, if they look at a map, sorry, and then they don't understand that even with blue lights from Bronglais, you cannot make Glangwili in an hour. And Haverfordwest, I guess, Withybush would be something similar. And they were talking about building another new hospital further away from Bronglais, more towards St Clair's, which makes it worse because you're talking about infrastructure, and you're quite right. There is talk about extra houses coming in, 100 houses possibly into Llanilar here. Whoever thought of that as, well, they've got to think again.
Well, especially as, you know, because the BMA stipulates that a safe number for every full-time GP is 1,000. I know that statistics on Llanilar surgery at the moment is running on 1,600 patients. Now, they think that's okay because there are other surgeries running on a figure of over 2,000. Well, I'm sorry, I won't accept that. I've already had to move the residents from Cysgod-y-Coed to a surgery in Aberystwyth because of the lack of contact with a GP in our local. And I've been here 20 years. I had a wonderful working relationship with Llanilar surgery for 19 years. Now that speaks volumes.
Yes. And
we're losing our community, and Llanilar is becoming a commuting village, and certainly not the small-knit community that I grew up here in Llanilar. And I tell you, a very sad statement that was given to me by a lady who is 85 years old, has lived in Llanilar and born and raised here. She said, "I'm so glad I was born when I was born. And God help future generations." That is a very sad statement.
How do you know Gwyn and Gwlad? And has he? I mean, he's a county councillor. Have you come across his work? Would you say he's invested?
He's very invested. He's a very good speaker. He speaks common sense, and he clearly understands the need within Ceredigion and Mid Wales, but he also understands upbringing and the importance of community.
So you would love to see him win a seat, I should imagine. In
I
the
would,
Senate.
yes.
Yeah?
And I'd be behind him with a big flag.
That's a worrying thought in itself.
Do you think a lot of politicians, though, hear these stories and they don't really care in the same way that you do?
That'd be unfair on them, but certainly some of them do. But the community thing is very important for me. So is to be able to not only protect it, but develop it in the right way, the way that the community wants, not me, but the way that they want it done is very important for me. And that it is sustainable, and it's the right kind, the right look, the right feel of the village. And lots of them, there's no doubt about it. The other thing is that bringing the houses here, 30 or 44, it doesn't matter how many, is Ceredigion may well turn down that application. But if they do, the developers already said, well, we'll just take it to Cardiff. Yeah. And Cardiff will take it and will approve it. Now, they run roughshod over the view of the local community. How dare they? They've wrecked the valleys, they've wrecked some of the towns, and now they're coming to wreck the countryside.